So howdy, my name is Anna. This is our Living Well Yoga. We have 45 minutes together. Super happy y'all are here. There are blocks here in the closet. There's also extra mats, anything else that you might need. If you're joining us virtually, just make sure you have some comfortable space around you if you don't have a yoga mat. You can use a book, a pillow, something else in the place of a block if you don't have a block today as well. So we're going to start with some beginning meditation and breathing. Announcement wise, the only thing that I would say is that make sure to follow Living Well on social media. If you're not, I know they post lots of giveaways and things like that as well, especially Instagram. And then next Wednesday, this month time period, I guess January, February, for Texas A&M is Aggies Against Violence. And it's focused around January is Human Trafficking Awareness Prevention Month. And then February is Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month. Also Stalking Awareness and Prevention Month is in January. So they kind of lump those together, Aggies Against Violence. So next Wednesday night, I'm going to be doing Healing with Friends yoga class here in person in 2229, or you can join virtually. So friends, if you want to join virtually, and you can find that information, I believe it's tx.ag, the short link, /healing with friends, if you're interested with that, but you can find it on the health promotion website as well. So just some extra yoga with me if you want next Wednesday night. But go ahead and get comfortable wherever you are. You can lay down on your back, you can stay seated, lay on your side, whatever feels best for you. And I'm going to go ahead and push play on our playlist. So just getting comfortable again wherever we are. That doesn't mean absolute stillness either. Feel free to move around and find a comfortable position for yourself. Feeling free to close your eyes if that feels good for you. Know that I will keep my eyes open and you're safe in this place today. As we shift our gaze inward, we can shift our focus towards our mind, our bodies, checking in with how we're feeling as we come onto our mats today. I invite you to become aware of your breath. Remembering that this practice is for whatever it is that you need today. Maybe using these first few minutes to check in with how your body's feeling. Maybe noticing any places of discomfort or pain or tenderness. And remembering to give those places a little bit of extra love and care today. As we start to tune into our breath, we can move into our diaphragmatic breathing, our 3-part breath. So inhaling deep from the belly up into the chest, and exhaling from the chest back down to the belly. Feeling free to breathe in and out of the nose if that feels good and accommodating to you today. You're welcome to place a hand on your belly and a hand on your heart. Maybe channeling that feeling and sensation. We also place our hand on our heart for love and our hand on our belly for courage. With each exhale, thinking about letting go of any expectations, letting go of any judgment, and letting go of any competition. Simply focusing on this present moment today, listening to our bodies, always taking those few minutes to check in as we move through our physical asanas today. And remembering that we are in control of our practice. Therefore, we have the power to decide what feels best for our bodies today in every single pose. Maybe taking these next few minutes to set your intention for your practice today. As we enter a new month, maybe that has meaning for you. Maybe checking back in on our goals that we set for ourselves at the beginning of the semester, the beginning of the year. When you're ready, you can release your hands by your sides. All we're going to do is start to move our arms with our breath. So as we inhale, we reach our hands up and over. And as we exhale, we release the hands down by the sides. So moving your body in a way that feels best for you. The arms can stop over the shoulders, out to the sides. Simply getting used to that movement with the breath here as we start our practice. Maybe feeling the energy in our fingertips. We'll take 2 more rounds of breath here. Lengthening our spine with each inhale. On your last exhale, all we're going to do is draw our knees into our chest. So we'll make our way onto our backs if we're not there at this time. And we can gently rock side to side, massaging our low back and sacrum if that feels good for us. From here, we'll release the right leg, keeping our left knee in, grabbing onto our hamstring. We can keep the foot on the floor. As we inhale, we'll pull the knee into the chest. And then as we exhale, we'll switch, alternating our legs, warming up our hips and our low back here. So inhaling and then exhaling to switch. If we want to add on to this today, we're feeling like we want to build a little more heat in the body. As we switch, we can hover the leg over the floor. Maybe checking in with how the right and the left side of the body are feeling. Taking 1 more round on each side. And then on your next exhale, we'll draw both of our knees into our chest again, 1 more time. From here, taking our arms out into that T position, we're going to get some rotational movement in our spine to warm up here. Inhaling, knees come to tabletop, so right over our hip bones. As we exhale, we slowly lower the knees over to the right side. We can hover them over the floor or we can let them fall all the way onto the ground. Inhaling, we come back to center. And exhaling, we drop the knees to the left. So taking either option. And I'm going to give you a few different options to add onto this movement today. As we drop our knees over to the right side, we can lift the right arm up off the floor, trying to tap the top left leg to the floor. So the knee can tap to the floor, the shoulder lifts up, the arm lifts up. Coming back to center as we inhale, exhaling other side. So this time the right knee goes over, the right arm reaches up. We're just getting a little bit of mobility in our spine here, our low back, our thoracic spine. Moving with our breath side to side, option to tap the top knee to the floor. As you reach the arm up, think about lifting the shoulder blades up off the mat, almost as if you're pressing the hand to the ceiling. Taking either option here, maybe the knees stay together, maybe it's the opposite arm, opposite shoulder lifts, you decide. Taking 1 more round each side. As I hurt my back a couple of weeks ago, I'm doing this for my own benefit, but also for yours, as it is really good to build that healthy back. Bringing your knees back to center when you're ready. We're keeping the knees in the tabletop position, reaching our hands overhead, starting to move into some core activation. As we inhale, the left leg goes out and the right arm reaches up and overhead. Coming back to center and just alternating sides. So we call this move dead bug. Moving with our breath here, belly button to spine, opposite arm, opposite leg. If this starts to feel good for you, you're welcome to take the leg all the way out trying to maintain the contact points on the mat. So the low back, belly button to spine, pelvic floor is engaged. From the side, if you're joining us virtually, I like the tap down option, but again, you're welcome to extend your leg. You can also flex your feet and see how that feels, maybe tapping the heel to the floor. Inhaling to extend, exhaling, coming back to center. Slow and steady wins the race here. We'll do one more round on each side. And then when you're ready, coming back to center, drawing the knees into the chest one last time, rocking side to side, releasing any last little bit of tension in the low back. From here, we'll bring our feet onto the mat in line with our knees, close to our hips, moving into our bridge flow. From here, I want you to place your hands on your hip bones. As you lift your tailbone off the mat, you should feel the belly button press down, low back to the mat. As we inhale, we can release our hands from our hips. Slowly, we press the hips up to the sky into that bridge. And then as we exhale, we articulate the spine. So vertebrae by vertebrae coming down to the mat. Inhaling, we press up and lift, activating the posterior chain here. And then exhaling, we come down. Just moving at your own pace here in your bridge. Warming up our back body. We'll take 2 more rounds of our flow, bridge flow here with our breath. And then coming back onto your mat. From here, we'll take our feet to the long edges of the mat and just windshield wiper our knees side to side, releasing any bit of tension in our hips, our quads, our low back. As we move through this internal and external rotation, maybe taking note on, again, each side of the body and how it feels with this movement. Maybe there's a greater range of motion on one side. Taking one more round on each side. And then when you're ready, coming back to center, we'll draw the knees into the chest. We can rock over to our side or slowly roll ourselves up to a seated position, just bringing our hands to the front of our mats, knees under our hips in our quadruped or all fours, hands and knees position. Making sure we have a little space between the knees. We can press the palms into the mat, spreading our fingers like starfish, drawing the elbows in and back, shoulder blades squeezed together, moving into our cat and cow. As we inhale, starting with our hips, belly, then our chest, our head lifts, exhaling from the chin into the belly, rounding through the spine, then just moving through your cat and cow with your breath today. Maybe you're like me and one of these feels better than the other. You're welcome to stay in that place that feels good for you today. I encourage you to do that. Adding in any other options that feel good in this cat and cow flow. Maybe that's some hip circles or side to side movement. One more round of breath here. And then when you're ready, coming back to your tabletop position. As we inhale, pressing into our left hand, we reach the right fingertips out in front of us, thumb to the sky. Exhaling, releasing to the mat and switching sides. Inhaling, left arm this time. And exhale, release. Adding in our opposite leg. So inhaling, right arm reaches, left leg extends. Exhaling, hand and knee to the mat. So moving into our bird dog, alternating sides. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to release. Couple options here if you'd like to add on to this. As we inhale to lengthen, we can exhale, take the arm and the leg a little bit out to the side. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale to release. Another option that's always nice in this bird dog is we inhale to lengthen, and then we can exhale, rounding the spine, bringing the elbow to the knee. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale, coming back to all fours. So deciding which option feels best for you today. Another really great exercise to build strength in our back and our core, and overall just creating a healthy back. We'll take one more round on each side. When you're ready, meeting me back in your all fours, walking your knees to the long edges of the mat, tops of the feet sit down, hips towards our heels, we find child's pose. Whichever version of child's pose feels good to you, you can find extended child's pose, maybe hands out on the mat. You can also take your hands behind you. If you're wanting to avoid any inversions today, you can find your block, maybe resting your forehead on your block. If you're wanting a little bit more work for your shoulders or relief for your shoulders today, you can place your hands on the block. Remembering child's pose is a great option as a rest pose, and you can come into this position at any time in your practice or any other rest pose that might feel better for you, for that matter. When you're ready, as you inhale, taking your eye gaze to the top of your mat, shifting your body forward, arms extend, we find our plank position on our knees. So core starts to become engaged, drawing our elbows in. As we exhale, we come down into a little yoga push-up. Inhale, pressing back up to our plank. Exhaling, child's pose. So remembering that is an option we can always come to. Inhaling, we come to our plank. Another option is to exhale chaturanga all the way down to the mat. And then as we inhale, we press back up to our plank. Exhale, child's pose. A third option is we inhale, we come forward to plank. Exhaling, chaturanga, elbows in, tops of the feet on the mat. Inhale, we can come up into our baby cobra, our hands lift. Exhale, hands to mat, sitting back to find child's pose. Moving through your half series in any of those three options today. If you'd like, you can explore moving into downward dog with your half series today. So maybe if you're feeling ready or wanting that today, you're welcome to move from your down dog into your plank, knees or toes. You're also welcome to explore full cobra if that feels good for you today. Shoulder blades back, chest lifts to the sky. Taking one more round of this half series. And then when you're ready, meeting me back in your down dog or your child's pose. So either option, they are used interchangeably. Taking your eye gaze to the top of your mat, walking your feet towards your hands, finding a forward fold. Maybe you want your block nearby, bringing the ground up to meet you. Softening your knees here, checking in with your neck, your back, your hips, maybe shaking your head yes and no, releasing your jaw. When you're ready, we'll release our hands towards our block, the shins, the thighs. As we inhale, we lift up to lengthen, finding our flat back. As we exhale, soften, forward fold. One more time, inhale to your flat back to lengthen. Keeping your knees soft, exhale, forward fold. So softening a little deeper. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms can lift to the sky. Exhale, we sit back to chair pose. Hands can come into heart center, knees in line with toes. Inhale one more time. Another option in your chair is to reach your arms all the way out in front of you. Moving through our full sun salutations. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift to lengthen the spine. Exhale, soften and fold. Stepping back to find your plank, knees or toes. And taking your options here. So optional chaturanga, knees, toes, optional cobra, or up dog, the knees can lift. Exhale, down dog or child's pose. Making your way back to the top of your mat, forward fold, exhale. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. Moving through your sun salutations at your own pace, feeling free to add on anything else that you might want today. Remembering our goal here is to build heat in the body, as well as get the blood moving to all of our major muscles that we're going to be utilizing in our practice today. Taking one more round of your sun salutations. And then wherever we finish, we'll end up back in our down dog or child's pose. So as soon as you finish your last round of your sun salutations, meeting back in your down dog or your child's pose. Taking a few deep breaths here. When you're ready from your down dog or child's pose, you're just going to shift your gaze to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift your left leg to the sky for three-legged dog, or your left knee can be, or right knee can be down. Exhale, we pull the knee forward and through to find our low lunge. From here, if we want to, maybe shifting back to our hamstring stretch, maybe shifting forward, just checking in with how our hips are feeling in our first deep lunge of the day. When we're ready, finding our balance with our left knee bent, we're tucking the right toes, lifting the right knee, coming up into a high lunge. So finding that balance, option hands at heart center, or we can stretch them to the sky. In this position, our hips are forward. We want to think about squeezing our right glute so as to open up through the hip flexor. From here, right heel is going to drop to the floor. We rotate to open the hips into our warrior two. We can check to make sure our knees are happy. We can release our hands to any position that feels good for us. Shoulders down and back. Remembering that our left knee is pressing out. We're pressing into both feet here, squeezing our glutes to align our hips. Flipping the left palm to the sky, keeping the legs where they are, we reach back to find reverse warrior. Opening this time through the heart center, our left side of our body. Eye gaze can be up to the hand, on the left hand, the right hand, or out to the side. And we can also wrap the right hand, either option. Taking one more big inhale, exhaling, coming back to warrior two. Maybe you want your block here or something. I'm going to grab mine. We're moving into triangle trikonasana. So I like to place the block in my left hand, maybe step up my feet a little closer as well. Straightening our left leg, keeping a micro bend. We reach the right hand back, and then we reach the left hand forward, dropping the left hand, but not dropping the body. So what happens a lot in triangle pose is we do this and we immediately want to reach down and the whole body drops. But think about lifting up through the right arm. So even if you don't have a block, the left hand is soft on the inside of the calf. And we're still squeezing our glutes here to align our hips. Maybe you notice a little pop or something like that. Sometimes that happens with the SI joints in this position. Finding your breath here. On your next inhale, we're rotating our left foot to the long side of the mat so it meets the right, it matches it. And we come up to our 5-pointed star. So heels in, toes out. Exhaling, sinking down into our sunflowers. So moving with our breath here. Exhaling, we sink down. Inhaling, we lift. Finding strength in our lower body, releasing any tension in our hips. Taking 2 more rounds here. Meeting back in that 5-pointed star. When you're ready, we'll exhale our hands to our hips, soften our knees to find a nice wide leg straddle position. And from here, we can bend the knees right and left, maybe finding a nice release in the inner thigh. You can sink all the way down into Skandasana if you'd like. The toe lifts, the heel lifts. When you're ready, coming back to that place of stillness, we'll walk our hands towards our left foot, the front of our mat, rotating our hips to find that low lunge. Thinking about our left foot here, when we step back to our down dog, we can lower this and come back to child's pose. But if we want a little heat today, maybe taking that left leg and sending it high into your 3-legged dog. As we inhale, exhaling, knee comes into the chest. Inhale, send it back again. This time, knee comes to the left elbow. Inhale one more time. Exhaling, releasing it to the floor, finding your down dog. Option to stay here or move through your half series. You can also find child's pose, maybe catching your breath. When you're ready, we'll inhale, lifting our right leg to the sky, either with the left knee down or from our 3-legged dog. Exhale, right leg comes forward and through to find your low lunge. And we can rock forward and back to check in with the hips, maybe noticing a little bit more warmth in the body. Maybe checking in with our hamstrings as well. As we shift forward, knees in line with toes, we'll tuck the left toe, lift the left knee, coming up into our high lunge. Option to lift the arms, squeezing through the left glute to open the hip, lengthening the spine, shoulders down and back. Taking a big inhale. As we exhale, opening up into our warrior 2. So this time, right knee is forward, checking our hips. Pressing through our feet, any arm positions. Relaxing our shoulders. We can even take them slightly forward in front of us, maybe seeing how that feels. From here, we'll flip the right palm, keep the legs where they are, reach back to find reverse warrior. Opening through that right side of the body. Again, option to look down, side or up. Taking another inhale. As we exhale, coming back to our warrior 2, maybe finding our block. Adjusting our feet. I like mine a little closer, but it's up to you, personal preference. Softening the knee, but straightening, so a little soft. We reach the left hand back first, feeling the rib cage, and then we reach forward. And then we lower the right hand, left arm to the sky. So we can find a soft bend in our right knee. Thinking about squeezing the glutes still here in your triangle pose. Reaching up and lifting up with our left shoulder so that the left shoulder is stacked over the right. On your next inhale, rotating your right foot To the long side of the mat, we come up to our 5-pointed star. Exhaling, releasing the hips into our sunflower. So sinking down into that squat. Excellent. Knees in line with toes. So we're pushing our knees out wide, sitting the hips down and back. Option here, if you want to move into your moonflower, you can. Maybe you want to alternate the two. Taking 2 more rounds of breath here in whichever option feels best. Just focusing on this nice sensation in the body. Feeling grounded as we sink and lifted as we rise. Meeting back in your 5-pointed star when you're ready. Hands come to our hips. We soften our knees as we bring the body forward in that wide leg forward fold. You're welcome to move into those knee bends side to side, or if you want to explore wide leg downward facing dog, turning your toes to the long side of the mat, walking your hands forward and then pressing your hips back. So it's just like down dog, but our feet are wide. Option here to make the feet less wide. Pressing the hips back here. When you're ready, walking your hands back to the center of your body. Maybe your block is there for you. We'll walk the feet wide once again to the long edges of our mat. This time rotating our body towards our right foot, the front of our mat in our low lunge. Option to lower the knee if we'd like. We'd send the right leg back as we inhale. The right leg goes high. As we exhale, we pull the knee forward and through. Inhale, send it high. One more time. Exhale, this time right knee to right elbow. Inhale, last time. Exhale, releasing to the mat. Finding your child's pose or your down dog or your half series. Meeting back in your child's pose or down dog. From here, we're shifting either into our all fours or staying in down dog, either option. As we inhale, we'll lift the right leg high into that 3-legged dog. We have the option to bend the knee and wrap the leg behind us to open up our hip. So from the 3-legged dog, we can send that leg back. Taking an inhale here. As we exhale, bringing the hips square, we'll pull the knee all the way forward and through, finding our pigeon pose. Lots of options in pigeon today. We can find our block. That's my personal fave. Place it underneath your hip. Make sure when you look back, you can walk your leg back first and that it's straight on your mat. And then if you'd like to, you can come down onto your forearms. Only thing we want to think about here is that our hip bones are square on the mat. Maybe thinking about relaxing the muscles in our jaw and our face. Finding this nice release in the sides of our glutes, our piriformis on one side, and then also our hip on the other side. When you're ready, we'll slowly walk ourselves back up to our hands, removing our block if we have it there. I like to lift my left knee up off the mat and then send my right leg back. Finding down dog or child's pose, we can reset our hips. Moving into our other side, our pigeon on other side. So either in our all fours or our three-legged dog, we'll inhale, sending the left leg high, letting that leg wrap around behind us. As we exhale, bringing it back to center and pulling the knee forward and through to find your pigeon pose on the other side. Walking the right leg back first. Checking in, maybe we want our block. Maybe we want to lower down our forearms onto our block. Maybe we want to stay up on our hands for today. It's whatever feels best on this side. Maybe taking our gaze down or closing our eyes. And slowing down our breath, finding that 3-part breath, just like we had at the beginning of our class. When you're ready, slowly walking your hands up to the mat, lifting your chest, maybe removing your block. From here, we'll lift our right knee off the mat, coming back to our last and final down dog of the day. If we're ready, we can move into our last child's pose of the day. Just gathering our breath here. When we're ready, after we make our way to our child's pose, we're simply walking our hands into our body, lifting our chest, and shifting around into that seated position. From here in our seat, we'll lengthen our right leg, bring our left knee into our chest. We're going to do some seated twists today before we come down to the mat. So right leg's extended, left knee is in. We can stay right here, or we can cross the leg over. We can also find our stacked leg position if that feels good for us. Sitting up nice and tall, so lengthening our spine, we'll inhale, reach our arms up to the sky. As we exhale, twisting from the belly first over to the left, the right arm comes across, left hand comes down behind us. Maybe from here, we take our eye gaze a little further, deepen our twist. And when we're ready, we'll slowly unwind, coming back to center and switching sides. So this time our right knee comes into our chest, either staying right here, crossing over, or stacking. Sitting up nice and tall, so both our sit bones are on the mat. We inhale, reach the arms to the sky. Exhale, twisting to the right. As we feel comfortable in our twist, then we can slowly take our eye gaze over our shoulder if it feels good for us today. When we're ready, as we exhale, we'll slowly come back to center. Keeping this right knee into the chest, we'll uncross it, using it as a break as we slowly lower ourselves down onto our mats, rounding through our spines. Bringing our knees into our chest one last time, rocking side to side. Taking any last and final poses that we want to end our practice today before we move into final relaxation. Maybe that's happy baby. Maybe that's my personal fave, which is the single leg happy baby. You're welcome to find one of those. Maybe if you're like me, you're feeling any sort of low back pain, you can find legs up the wall. That's another great one. Just let your knees soften. Hands can come by your sides. And if this feels good for you, you can also find your block, place it underneath your low back, under your sacrum. So letting your low back release here and then bringing your knees into your chest. And then if you want to, finding that legs up the wall position. Really great if you have any sort of low back pain, sciatic nerve pain. Again, this is your last few minutes of whatever it is that you need today. And then whenever you're ready, you'll make your way into whatever position that you want for final relaxation. Starting to close your eyes once again. Just shifting your focus inward, checking in on your body, your mind, and how you're feeling. Bringing your focus back to your breath. Thinking about your deep 3-part breath. As we inhale from the belly, moving the breath up into the chest. And exhaling from the chest back down to the belly. Feeling free to maybe add on a count to your breath. Or finding any comfortable breathing pattern that feels good for you to end your practice today. Starting to wiggle your fingers and toes, just bringing some awareness back into your body and your space. Whenever you're ready, you're welcome to bring your knees into your chest and roll over onto your favorite side, using your arm as a pillow. Making your way back to a seated position whenever you're ready. Sitting up nice and tall. We'll inhale our arms up to the sky, lengthening our spines. As we exhale, we draw our breath into our heart center. And we end our practice saying something together that simply means I honor, see, and observe the light in each and every one of you. It is also within me. Namaste. Thank y'all so much for practicing with me. I hope you have a great rest of your day and your week, and I will see you next time. Going to focus on the heart next week, y'all. It is a week of love, right? Thanks for joining, everyone.